Okay, good morning everybody, and Hazaku Baruch. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday morning as we are studying together Perashat Yitro. Of course, Yitro is Moshe's father-in-law, and the Perashat that we're studying this week, Perashat Yitro, deals with, of course, the giving of the Ten Commandments. My friends, there's a lot to talk about. When it comes to the Ten Commandments, of course, the Ten Commandments are not the totality of the Torah. Not only aren't they the totality of Torah, it's not even that these 10 are more important than the other mitzvot. It would be forbidden to say such a thing. Okay? All 613 are equally important. Again, it's not for us to decide what's more important. There are some Jews that are called 10 Commandments Jews, which they claim they only keep the 10, because obviously these 10 are more important. Of course, this is not acceptable in Judaism. All 613 are required. The obvious question is, so then what are these 10? Why are there 10 commandments? There should be no commandments. There should be 613 mitzvot. Why need specifically 10 commandments written on the tablets? Which is again discussed by many scholars and commentaries. But one thing that we do notice is that the 10 commandments are divided on 2 tablets, because there are 2 areas that we need to focus on in our lives. Focus of man and God, and focus of man to man. Mitzvot ben Adam lamakom, and the mitzvot ben Adam lahavero. Of course, you notice very quickly, that the 5 commandments on the right tablet is ben Adam lamakom, man to God, no other gods, and believe in a God, and keeping Shabbat. Right, those are the 5 on the right side, on the right tablet, and then there are the 5 on the left tablet, ben Adam lahavero, which are the man to man commandments. And it's very clear that the Torah is emphasizing that both are equally important by giving us these 10 on 2 separate tablets. God could have given them one tablet, 10, or he could have divided it in many other ways, but he gave them 5 and 5 to show you that these 5 correspond to those 5. And not only that, but there's also many studies and many works explaining and describing how each one of the 5 are intertwined with the other 5. So as an example, 1 and 6 correspond very much, and 2 and 7, and 3 and 8, and 4 and 9, and 5 and 10. Today I would like to focus, my friends, because as we are trying to stay true to our commitment of Rabbeinu Bahiyah this year as much as we can, I would like to try to study with you together the 10th commandment. Of course, we know the 10th commandment is Lo tahmod. Do not covet. What does that mean? Do not covet. Right? Usually we translate as don't be jealous. What does it mean to don't be jealous? Don't be jealous, don't covet something means don't desire something, don't crave something, don't want something. There's a sin, the Torah writes, let's read the Pasuk. It's going to be in chapter 20, Pasuk 14. Here we go, my friends, after God gives us the commandments. Right? First one, let's quickly go through the 10. The first one is, I am the God who took you out of Egypt, and that's a commandment. I believe that I took you out of Egypt. And number 2, don't have other gods. Number 3, don't create a pesel. Number 4, that was part of number 2. Number 3, lo tisa, don't testify falsely using God's name. Okay? Don't use God's name in vain. Number 4, zachorot yom HaShabbat, keep the Sabbath. Number 5, respect your parents. Kaved et avicha ve'et imecha. Then 6, 7, 8, and 9 are 2 words each, or rather very short. Lo tirtzach, don't kill. Lo tinaf, don't commit adultery. Lo tignov, don't kidnap someone. Lo ta'aneh b're'acha et shaket, don't testify falsely in court. Okay? When I said earlier, I'm sorry. I said earlier, you shouldn't testify with God's name. It's not what it was. The third one was don't use God's name in vain. Nothing to do with testimony. This one is don't testify in court. That's, again, against someone. That's number 9. And then, number 10. Lo tahmod bet re'echa. Pasuk says, do not covet, do not desire your friend's house. Lo tahmod eshet re'echa. Don't covet his wife, or his servant, or his maidservant, or his donkey, or his ox. V'chol asher lere'echa. So here we have, my friends, the 10th commandment is a commandment that we are all struggling with. All of us, everyone in the world, struggles with jealousy. We see something, we want something. We want our friend's house. We see people, especially in today's day and age where we see so many people and the lives they live, that it's out there for us to see in the open. They post it on social media, on all different platforms, and they're explicitly saying, look at my life. Look at my party. Look where I vacation. Look at my wife. Look at my children. Look how good I am. Look how amazing it is. Of course, this is very foolish from the person who's showing it, because of they're creating jealousy. They're creating hatred and envy over themselves. Of course, the Gemara tells us, in life, if you want bracha, you have to hide what you have. Bracha only goes on something that's hidden. So if you're going to show and flex everything about your life, there's no bracha on such a thing. That's why fish are very blessed. Why? Because fish are hidden. They're under the water. There can't be evil eye on fish. That's why a lot of the fish, the evil eye maybe keychain that you buy, it's a fish with an evil eye in it. Because fish are protected from the evil eye. Yosef is the 12th, is the mazal, right, of the eye and the fish and everything. Yosef was above the eye. So dagim, fish, are very, very blessed. Why? Because veyidgu larov bekerev haaretz. Right, that's what Yaakov blesses the children. Hamalach hagoel eloti. Right? Hu yibarech et hane'arim ve'yikareh behem shemi. Yaakov, when he's blessing Menashe and Ephraim, he says, the angel that protected me, protect these children, ve'yidgu larov bekerev haaretz, and they will be like dagim, they will multiply like fish. Why do fish multiply? Because there's no evil eye. So if you want your money, my friends, to multiply, hide it. Don't show it off. Don't flex. Don't put it up for the world to see. That's, first of all, point number one, from the person who's showing off perspective. But from the receiver's perspective, the result is immediately, it's hard for me to not be jealous. I want that. So let's see what the Rabbeinu Bahiyah says. Yadua ki ahimda, it's known that coveting, desiring, is actually a commandment that's tiluya balev. It's a heart commandment. It's not a commandment of deed. It's very interesting. Rabbeinu, the Ibn Ezra asked the question, by the way, how could God command a feeling? It's a feeling, it's automatic, it's immediate, it's instant. I see it, I want it. You could command me not to steal, but how could you command me not to want? I want it. Sorry, God, I do. It's just the reality. I see it, I like it, I want it. You're telling me now I can't even want it. It's very hard to control my feeling. I could control my action. I could control what I do. But I can't control what I think, what I feel. This is the question of the Ibn Ezra. The Ibn Ezra answers the question. And he actually says that, no, you're wrong. You could control how you feel. You could control your feelings. I'll give you an example. He gives a mashal. He says if there's a prince who marries a princess, at the wedding of the prince and the princess, do you think all the simple village people that are present at the wedding are jealous? Why didn't I marry the queen? Why didn't I marry the princess? You think they're sitting there miserable at the party, kicking themselves? I wish I married her. Shoot, I wanted her. I want that. They don't even want her. They don't even think of it. Why? They're enjoying the party. You know why? Because she's out of their league. She's out of their league. Says the Ibn Ezra, a person needs to realize that whatever's not given to me, it's out of my league. Hashem didn't want me to have that. And really you could control what you desire. But first you have to realize, and you have to have strong emunah, realizing that if I don't have it, it's because God doesn't want me to have it. It's because that's not good for me. So let's see again what Rabbeinu Bahiyah says. Ikar ha-mitzvah, what does it mean? What is the commandment? Rabbi, explain to me what exactly am I supposed to do to keep number 10? Help me keep the 10th commandment. So he says, Ikar ha-mitzvah, the main commandment is sheyityaesh ha'adam mikol ma sheyesh lahavero. Main idea, the principal warning contained in this commandment is that one must train themselves to absolutely renounce all hope of ever acquiring something that belongs to another person. Whether it's karka, real estate, or metaltelin, or movable objects, property. Ve'yifne lebo, remove your heart min ha-mahshava hazot, from this thought. Don't even think of one day, hopefully you could acquire that in illegal ways. Shelo yachshov bahem velo yihamdem, don't even desire them. Why? Ki mitoch ha-hemda, because it's known that when a person desires something, yavo adam liderech hitzah, it could lead them to even kill. Look at this wild statement, but he's saying it. Just wanting it, okay, well, Rabbi, so what? Who did I kill? Who did I hurt? I just want his car. I would like to have his house. Yes. Okay? Here, I said it. I would like to have, I know he has a beautiful house, an amazing location on the corner over there, and I wish I had that house. Am I gonna hurt anyone? No. Am I gonna kill anyone? No, I just want it. Says Rabbeinu Bahya, you're wrong. Because actually wanting could lead to killing. And I guarantee you, he says, that if a person who wanted something was able to have his way, he would kill in order to get it. We just don't, because there's laws, we'll go to jail, we're going to get caught. But he says we find examples in history. Look, as an example, Achan. Remember Achan? Achan, who is Achan? Anyone know? Who's Achan? Give it a couple of seconds. Achan was the guy, give it a couple of seconds if anyone wants to write the answer. Exactly. He took from the loot of the city of, which city? Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam she'hakol niyeh baro. Correct. 5 points for Gryffindor. Okay, he took from the loot of the city of Yericho. Remember when they conquered Yericho, Yehoshua said, nobody take from the city. This is actually not your battle. God conquered Yericho. Remember, the walls came down. So God takes the loot. You don't take nothing. They were allowed to take from later on conquests. But this one, they weren't allowed to touch. Of course, Achan took. This one guy, Achan. And when later on, when he explained why, he confessed and he explained, he says, "Va'ir'eh beshalal aderet shin'ar ahat tova." He explains, I saw among the spoils a fine shin'ar mantle, 200 shekels of silver, a wedge of gold weighing 50 shekels. I coveted them. Va'ahamdem, he says, the word hamod, I wanted them. Va'ekhem, and I ended up taking them. Va'hemda azot, hemdevi'ato lideskila. This coveting led to his death. And furthermore, not only does it lead to the person's death, but it could lead him to kill others. V'chen matzinu be'inyan Ahav. Remember the king Ahav? He wanted something. He's a king. A king can have whatever he wants, right? Wrong. He wanted, what did he want? What did he desire? Anyone know the story? Shehamad, he desired and craved Kerem Navot HaYizraeli. He desired a very beautiful property of this guy whose name was Navot. Navot was, he had, I don't know exactly what it looked like, but he had amazing location. Maybe it was on the beach, maybe it was corner house, I don't know what it was. It was a beautiful house, prime real estate. The king wanted it also for part of his property. He wanted that. He offered Navot other fields. In exchange, Navot said, thank you, but I like this field, I want to keep, this is the inheritance from all the way back, I want to keep it. What did the king end up doing? He ended up killing Navot. Killed the guy because he wanted his house. So Rabbeinu Bahya says, make no mistake, that you wanting something could lead to murder. Which is maybe why it's the 10th commandment compared to the 6th commandment. The first and last on that side, the first and the last are very intertwined. The 10th can lead to the 6th. Lo tirtzah, don't kill. And desiring can lead to killing. Okay, let's continue. Ve'amru b'midrash, our rabbis say furthermore in the midrash, Kol mishehu homed ma she'eno ra'ui lo, whoever desires something that doesn't belong to them. Not only, look at this, ma shehomed en notnim lo, whatever you want, my friends, very important lesson for jealousy. You should know a rule that if we are coveting something that's not really supposed to be ours, whatever we covet, not only won't we get that, but we even lose what we do have. This is so true on such a simple level. You think about someone you see a friend in the street, you say, hey, you look very sad today, you look very bitter, what's going on? The person could have an amazing life, could have a wife and kids and children, family, house, money, afford a winter vacation, and a job, health, everything is amazing. And you speak to this person, they look bitter, they look like they just died, like someone just died. What's going on? You say, I don't know, I could be open with you, right? I don't know, I'm seeing all these other parties that people are throwing. You know, this guy just married off a daughter, he did it in this place, that one did, destination, this one's doing, this one's that having, this one's throwing, this one's enjoying, look at these, look at those. And what am I? I'm stuck driving a Honda. I'm stuck having a party in this basic shul. And the person looks like the most miserable person. And the truth is, this person is so blessed. This person has health, family, money, success, bracha, everything. He doesn't need to ask for tzedakah from nobody. So this person, not only doesn't he have that big party that he's jealous of, he can't even enjoy his own party. At his own party, the whole time, he's at his own party. And he's miserable because what's going on in his head? All he could think of, the other guy had that. He can't even enjoy his own party because he's thinking about the other guy's party. And whatever, this is such a powerful, very, very valuable lesson. To realize, my friends, that when we're coveting something, jealousy, envy, not only do we not get what that person has, we end up losing what we ourselves have. We don't even see it. We don't even appreciate it. You could be sitting with your own family on a Shabbat table, and instead of enjoying your family, instead of enjoying the beautiful kids that God blessed us with, yes, they may be difficult. Yes, maybe some of them are jumping on the roof and they have ADHD and they have learning disabilities and they're struggling in all difficult situations, and maybe they're not getting 95s on every test. And the other kid is acing, and the other one, and the other one, and the other one. It's true, maybe I don't have the easiest, but I have a beautiful family. And each kid is a gift that God gave me. And instead of enjoying my Shabbat table, the whole meal, I'm not able to enjoy because I'm thinking about my friend's Shabbat table. He has this, and he's probably right now doing that. Person, not only they lose that bracha, they don't even get their own bracha. And where do we learn this from, my friends? Who could try to take a guess? Where do we learn this? Sheken matzinu, for so we have found, benahash hakadmoni. We find this by the snake, the first snake, one who started all the problems. He wanted something. What did he want? Anyone know what he wanted, by the way? We always just view him as someone who tried to get Eve to eat from the apple or, the fruit. But he actually wanted something. You know what he wanted? He wanted, very good, he wanted Eve. He wanted Chava. Natan einav behava vehamda. Again, the sin of the first fruit, the forbidden fruit, is very complicated. The Torah writes it, very nice story, but it's very, very simplified. But the story could be understood on so many deeper layers. And as we get older and we understand the story on deeper layers, deeper levels of understanding. The Nachash, our rabbis tell us, wanted Chava. Vechamda, he desired her. Velo hayta re'uya, she's not for you. Mr. Snake, you have a wife, that's for you. Eve is not her. What ended up happening to the snake? Mashe bekesh lo natan lo. Not only didn't he get Eve, Mashe beyado natnu meno, he even lost what he himself had. Sheharin itkalel al zot al kavchonechat elech. He was cursed that he should always have to now walk on his stomach. So he ended up losing even from his own blessings. He was a regular animal, the snake, and now he's the most cursed animal. He's on his stomach. He's the worst of the 4 schools in Harry Potter. The Slytherin, right? Nobody likes them. So I know too many Harry Potter references today, Rabbi. What's going on? Did you go to Harry Potter World recently? Yes, I did. Okay, I did. I went with my kids last week to Universal, so maybe that's why. But either way, ad kan ba midrash. Till here in the midrash. Okay, you too, Hadas, you're a Harry Potter fan. Okay. Velule, my son told me a great Harry Potter joke, okay, for those Harry Potter fans. He told me, Dad, my friend is Harry Potter's godfather. I said, really? He's like, yeah, he's serious. Okay, if you didn't get that joke, it's because you're not a Harry Potter fan. But either way, ad kama midrash, okay? Give me a thumbs up if you understood that joke. Okay. Velule shehagezel bichlal hachemda. If it wasn't for the fact, look at this. Now he goes on to a completely different question. Okay? He says, Gezel bichlal hachemda. He says over here that theft, stealing, you ever wonder why is don't steal not one of the 10 commandments? Now you are probably ready to jump out of your skin and yell at me. But Rabbi, it is! Number 8. Lo tignov. So you're incorrect. Why? Who could tell me why it's incorrect? Because number 8, lo tignov, is not don't steal. It's don't kidnap someone. That's really lo tignov. You should know. I'm sorry if I destroyed your entire understanding of the Ten Commandments just now, and you're having right now a huge moment of shock. But yes, the 8th commandment is not don't steal. It's don't kidnap. So he wants to know, why is stealing not one of the 10? It's so important. So he answers right here. If not for the fact that actually stealing was included in coveting, and if not for this 10th commandment, it should have been here. The commandment of don't lo tigzol. Again, gzela is very different from geneva. Lo tignov is someone. Lo tigzol is something. It should have been a separate commandment for don't steal something. Lo tigzol. Ki hi avera hamura ad me'od. Because it's something that's very, very, very significant and severe. Verov ha'olam nechshalim ba. And it's something that most people struggle with. Most people fail in theft. Again, maybe you don't walk into a store and steal something from someone. But maybe you steal in other ways. Maybe you borrowed something and you deliberately are not giving it back. That's a form of stealing. And you know you have it, and you know the other person wants it back. But you taking advantage of their kindness, and you delay, oh, I forgot it, oh yeah, come to me next week, and you know the other person is just going to let you have it. That's a form of stealing. You're taking something from someone that they don't want to give. Or if a person maybe purchased something, and they're able to take advantage of the return policy system. These are all forms of gezel. He says it's something that we all struggle with. Most of the world is guilty of gezel. So it should be in the Ten Commandments. It's a very, very thought out crime, like retzicha and ni'uf and geneva, ve'edu cheker. So you know why it's not here? Because it's already part of the 10th. Because ein adam gozel ad sheyahmod, because you can't steal something until you first desire it. So by telling you don't covet, I'm including in that don't steal something. Because in order to get to stealing, you first have to covet. You don't steal something that you don't want, right? You don't steal if you're not if you don't like Pokemon cards. I was going to say Harry Potter, but it's 3 references is too much. So I'm going to say Pokemon. If you don't like Pokemon, you're not going to steal your Pokemon's cards, right? Your friend's Pokemon cards, because you don't care about Pokemon. You only steal something that you like, that you covet, that you desire. So the first step of stealing is desiring it. So by telling you don't desire something that's not yours, now it's including automatically the eventuality of me stealing it. Like the pasuk says in Micha, vehamdu sadot vegazlu. By desiring fields, they ended up stealing them. So the first step of stealing is of desiring. Lekach lo hutzrach lehaskiro. Therefore, God didn't have to include theft in the 10. However, kalaloto, but it's included in the lav of lo tahmod, in the negative commandment of don't desire. Ve'od ki ratza le'esor afilu ha'imda shehi ta'avat halev. Furthermore, God decided to write the 10th commandment of lo tahmod instead of don't steal, because desire is something even more profound. Shehi ta'avat halev bechol etu b'chol sha'ah. It's something that could happen in every minute and every second, anywhere, everywhere. It's a commandment that's, like we said earlier, dictating to me even how to think, even how to feel. Stealing is only telling me what to do. Coveting is something much, much deeper, something more difficult. Don't even want. And a person here learns a kal vachomer. Obviously, if I can't want, which is even a thought, then obviously I can't do, which is something that is an action. However, my friends, it's good to know. Matzinu chemda, says Rabbeinu Bahya. There is a chemda, there is a want, there is a jealousy, shehi muteret. There's a jealousy, my friends, which is allowed. You are allowed to be jealous. When I say it's forbidden to be jealous, that's a sentence fragment. Depends what you're jealous of. We do find that certain jealousies are allowed. Anyone know what? Vehi hemdat haTorah v'hamitzvot. It's wanting to do Torah, to keep commandments. Like our rabbis say beautifully, Kin'at sofrim tarbeh chokhmah. The jealousy that one has of scholars increases wisdom. Not only is it allowed, we even get rewarded. A person is rewarded for coveting something that someone else has that is worthwhile coveting. My friends, we have to realize that the sin of being jealous is not a sin in a vacuum. It's not asur because I'm not supposed to want something that someone else has. It's asur because of what it is that you want. If what you want was something that's allowed, something that you should want, then that's worthy to be jealous of. If you see a friend is a much better mother than you, if you see your friend is a much better father than you, if you see your friend has something that's worthwhile having, they're an amazing husband or wife, they're learning, they're praying, they're doing a lot of chesed, I want that. I want to be like that person. That's a jealousy that you should want and that you get rewarded for being jealous. Yes, so really, when the Torah says don't covet, the Torah is really saying is that you should have a value system that you're coveting the right things. Why is it that you want that house? Why do you care about a house? If you're wanting the house, it's because your priorities are all messed up. The fact that you want the house itself is the problem. The house shouldn't be of a value. A house is something that you need to live in. It shouldn't be something that you are eating, thinking, drinking, breathing. It shouldn't be taking and preoccupying your entire mind. You want something that should be, you should want important things. A house is not important. You know what's important? I'll tell you what's important. Important is someone who is an amazing Jew, an amazing father, an amazing mother. Important is someone who's doing the right things, who's helping, who's giving from their time. These are things that I should be jealous of. ובכלל החמדה המותרת הוא מי שחומד בת חברו לבנו. Something else, by the way, that you're allowed to covet. You ready? Something else that you're allowed to want, my friends, is someone who wants bat havero livno. Someone who wants the daughter. You ready for this? The daughter of his friend for his son. You're allowed to want your daughter, your friend's daughter, to marry your son. Shehare shaninu, because the Torah, after all, does say, Lo tahmod bet re'echa. Klal. The Torah writes first in general. Don't covet, something general. Then it goes into the detail. Sadehu avdo amato shoro hamoro. His field, his servant, his maidservant, his ox, his donkey. And then it goes into the detail. And we learn from here, klalu prat. The Torah writes something as a general rule, and then writes it as a detail. What do we learn from here? Just like the detailed things listed in the pasuk are things that are not forbidden to me, that are not permitted to me, things that I'm not allowed to have, which is his field and his donkey and his things that are not allowed to be mine. I can't steal, I can't have them. They're never going to be mine unless, again, I purchase them properly. But that's what the Torah is talking about. However, bito, but what about his daughter? His daughter could possibly marry my son, or his son to my daughter. Those are things that you're allowed to want. You're allowed to want. These are things that you're allowed to want. Okay, so it's good to know that jealousy is not exclusively, it's not purely forbidden. So here Rabbeinu Bahye ends his commentary on the 10th commandment. But there's one more piece for today, my friends, where he explains beautifully. Look at this. He explains now the last 5 commandments. What's the flow? How do they connect? How do the last 5 connect one to the other? Are they just random commandments? And if they're random, why list them in this way? Lo tirtzach, don't kill. Lo tinaf, don't commit adultery. Don't tignov, don't kidnap. Don't testify on someone. And don't covet. These are 5 commandments that seem to be just completely random. Is there a theme? Is there a thread? Rav Hirsch, by the way, answers this question. Rav Hirsch says that the Torah on the last 5 begins with commandments that are deed-oriented. Like we said, don't kill, don't commit adultery. It then moves on to speech commandments. Lo ta'aneh, don't testify. The Torah wants that I control not only what I do, but even what I say. And then finally, the 10th commandment is that I must also be in charge and in control of even what I think. Lo tahmud. That's the progression. Rav Hirsch, by the way, it's an amazing piece that the Torah starts with mitzvah in the hands, and then goes to the mouth, and then goes to the mind. And what's beautiful is he says, contrast this to the first 5 commandments. The first 5 are actually man and God. Ben Adam lamakom, mitzvot, between man and Creator. Actually, if you look at them, they begin the other way. First, God begins in the mind. Where's God? You don't see God, you don't feel God. God's here. So that's why the first commandment of the 5 is believe here. But look at this. God can never remain here. God has to eventually even affect what I not only think, but also how I talk. The 3rd commandment is talking. And then eventually it has to also impact how I act. How I act by keeping Shabbat, that's number 4. And also how I act with other people, that's number 5, respecting your parents. If religion remains in the mind, if religion doesn't make me a better person, a lot of times you see someone who gets inspired, they want to start becoming religious. And they become so religious to an extreme, they start disregarding people. And they start becoming somehow, by becoming more religious, quote unquote, they become a nastier person. And they're so religious that they're so focused and involved on focusing on God and themselves and their relationship to God, that it comes at the price of their relationship to people. That's not real religion. There are religions that unfortunately live like this. All they care about is Allah and God and God and God, and no one matters. And I'll kill people and I'll do whatever I need to. All you think is about God. That's not a real religion. Real religion impacts not only my relationship to Him, but the relationship to the people of the world. So that's the first 5. So look how it begins in the mind, but it must also trickle down to my deeds. The last 5, which are the commandments man to man, begin in deed. Don't kill, don't steal, don't covet, don't kill, don't commit adultery, right? But they cannot remain in deed. They must trickle into the mind. Don't covet. That's what Rav Hirsch says. Rabbeinu Bahye, let's see what he has to say. And again, he's only here talking about the last 5. He doesn't go into the first 5 over here, in this piece at least. Here I just finished explaining the last 5 commandments. And again, we didn't see the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 6, 7, 8, 9. We just saw number 10 today. But kshuram zo bezo, how are they all connected? It's as follows. Ki hithil lo tirtzah. God first begins with the commandment of don't kill. Why is that the first of the last 5? The first on the left side. And you would think he's talking to today's generation. You know, today we are struggling with overpopulation. Unfortunately, many people, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. I'm not saying I believe them, but there's a lot of theories that COVID and all of these things were in order to control the population. Population control. We have to minimize the amount of people. There's too many people in the world. Okay? Actually, according to Elon Musk, we're suffering the opposite. We're suffering from population decline. As an example, I think he said in Japan, there are more adult diapers being sold than baby diapers. So this is a big problem. That's a sign that we're actually declining as a population, not growing as a population. Either way, he says over here, he says, starts with the first commandment of the last 5 is don't kill. God's saying, you don't have the right to control the population. You may say there's too many people in the world. Too many people. Now I have to pay for a 15 by 75 or by 80 lot for a tiny hole in the wall. I got to pay $2 million. How did this happen? How did the prices become such that for a small piece of real estate I got to pay through the roof? It's not fair. There's so many people in this community. Too many people in the world. Maybe I'll kill some of them. So the first commandment, God says don't kill. Number 6, don't kill. Okay? So then, a person may say, well, you know what? If I'm not supposed to kill, and I shouldn't minimize the population, maybe I should populate the world by having even relations that are not allowed. Maybe I could sleep with whoever I want and have many children, have many babies. He says that's the next commandment. Lo tin'af. Maybe you'll say it's allowed to have many kids by being immoral. Therefore the Torah wrote even right away the next commandment, don't commit adultery. So look how the two connect. You can't minimize the population by killing, and you can't increase the population by having, even by the way, even if it's not behind the husband's back. Even if the husband, let's say someone's sterile, can't have kids. So you hire somebody, says, you know what, you impregnate my wife, please, because I want to have children. Just like you could have a surrogate mother. You could have a temporary surrogate dad who could impregnate the wife with permission. Lo tenaf, Torah writes, number 7, not allowed. So you know what? Fine. A person may say, since I cannot minimize the population, decrease the population, and I can't increase the population, but let me move people around. Let me at least distribute evenly the population. Too condensed over here in New York. Maybe I could kidnap some people from here and put them over there. Move some people. There's a lot of room over there in Wyoming. There's a lot of room over here. We could, spread them out. Send some people to Deal. Send some people to other communities. We're starting a new community in Tom's River. Right? Let's just spread them out. And I could force people maybe. I could kidnap someone from here and send them to there. I'm not killing. I'm not adding. I'm just dividing equally. I'm just taking him there to sell him there. Maybe if it's someone's slave, I could sell him there. I'm not killing, I'm not hurting, I'm just taking away someone's money. Okay. Again, he's giving an example. If you're kidnapping someone's slave. So there comes along the next commandment, lo tignov. Can't do that. Okay, maybe you'll say, maybe I cannot injure someone's money with my deed by kidnapping. What if I'm allowed though? Maybe I could injure them with speech. A lot of us, by the way, would never hurt someone physically. If someone here, you would never punch them. We're not aggressive at all. But I have no problem slandering, writing nasty things about them. I could speak gossip about them, and you're destroying that person. Someone maybe is single, you're destroying their potential to get married. If someone's looking for a job, you would never hurt them, take money from them, but many people do hurt with their mouths. Hurt them with words. A person may think it's allowed, mutar. That's number 9. So comes along God and says, you can't not only kidnap and hurt financially with your hands, you can't even hurt someone financially with your speech. And once God prohibited even speech, a person may conclude, okay, but at least thoughts I'm allowed. Maybe I'm allowed to think of wanting to harm him. Therefore, Torah writes, Lo tahmud. You can't even think of wanting to take someone's money. Not only shouldn't you take it, you can't even think of wanting to take it. So this is all, my friends, beautiful, beautiful. Rabbeinu Bahye, of course, the piece goes much longer, but I think for today, we saw a lot, we learned a lot, a little bit, some points about jealousy. I think the main takeaway is realizing, my friends, that when we're coveting something, it ends up blinding us to the bracha that we have. It ends up robbing us from the beautiful lives that we have. We were all so blessed. Today, for a few moments, maybe right after the Zoom, maybe spend a minute meditating on the bracha in our lives. Let's realize, let's open our eyes and see how blessed we are, how lucky we are. Maybe my children aren't exactly how maybe I would have made them. Maybe they're not exactly like my friends' children. Maybe my house isn't exactly the size. Maybe my yacht that I travel on, maybe the vacations, the places that I travel to, where I stay, maybe the summer house, maybe these things are not exactly, but I'm so blessed. Let us open our eyes. Let us not be like the snake. The snake was robbed from his happiness. He ended up losing what he himself had because he wanted someone else's things. By staying true to who we are and what we have, appreciating the blessings that God gave us, we'll be able to only desire, to only covet the correct things, to only covet the values that each and every single one of us should be creating for ourselves. Okay, we'll stop over here, everybody. Have a wonderful day. God willing, we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.